At least 3 Palestinians have been killed after Israeli special forces stormed a hospital in the occupied West Bank. It happened in one of the main buildings in the Sina Hospital in Jenin. You're watching latest pictures from there. We understand that Israeli military infiltrated the city during the night. Well, let's go straight to our correspondent, Rory Challands. He's across this for us from occupied East Jerusalem. Rory, we know there's been Israeli military activity around hospitals in Jenin before, but this time I understand people were killed inside the hospital?
Yeah, so this is an unusual event. The Israeli military has been targeting hospitals in various ways throughout the duration of this war, as we know. But going into a hospital as essentially a targeted hit squad to kill people inside that hospital, that has not happened since the beginning of this latest round of violence. Maybe it's happened before in history, but it is certainly an unusual event. What we know about this is that overnight an undercover special forces unit went into the Ibn Sina Hospital, which is in the west part of Jenin. They were undercover in that they were dressed as doctors, some of them dressed as nurses, dressed as civilians. This unit was comprised of police and army. They went up to the 3rd floor of the hospital, and there they shot and killed 3 young Palestinians. Now, it doesn't look like there was any attempt to arrest these men, so they went in there and they killed them as they were sleeping. We understand that one of them was taking treatment in the hospital and had been for some 3 months since he was injured by the Israeli army about 3 months ago. Al Jazeera Arabic's reporter in Jenin is saying that 2 of the people were brothers. One of them was connected to the Al-Qassam brigades, that's the armed wing of Hamas, and the other 2 are connected to the Jenin battalions, that's Islamic Jihad. Now, as I say, this is an unusual occurrence, but of course, while we're focusing on Gaza, there has been ongoing daily violence in the West Bank. 8 Palestinians have been killed only in the last 24 hours. 381 Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank since the beginning of the war, and just since the beginning of the year, so we're in January, so not very long, 62 Palestinians have been killed. So yes, we can say that the mass violence is going on in Gaza, but in the West Bank there is ongoing and continuous deaths.
Rory, as you say, it feels like we've seen an escalating crackdown, particularly on Jenin, though. Can you talk us through what's been targeted there in particular?
Well, it's interesting you talk about Jenin. We are hearing that the Israeli forces left after this special operation, 20-minute duration, going in, killing these 3 men. They left Jenin, but the latest info that we have is that they are now going back into Jenin. So Jenin is the site of a large refugee camp. There are refugee camps in other parts of the West Bank as well. But in Jenin, there has been particular focus over the last few months by the Israeli army. They go in there with bulldozers, they destroy infrastructure, they destroy homes, they do hits on particular families or particular houses that they think connected to the armed wings of Fatah or Islamic Jihad or Hamas. They tend to make fairly brief incursions and then they pull out again. But yes, this has been going on since the beginning of the war, and we have seen many, many events over the last few months where Palestinians have been killed. There have been clashes on the streets and efforts to essentially, I think, by the Israeli military to quell any uprising that they see likely coming from the West Bank. They want to concentrate on Gaza and they want to finish Hamas in Gaza, but they are well aware that Hamas's support base is not just in Gaza. There are resistance fighters in the West Bank as well, and they want to make sure that Gaza does not, the West Bank does not explode and cause another problem for them, and they are very ruthless in doing that.
Well, we'll certainly continue keeping a very close eye on events in Jenin for you here on Al Jazeera. For now, Rory Challands there with the latest from occupied East Jerusalem. Thank you, Rory.